As Ingrid said, this is Sala Comunitaria.
Como dice inglés, es la prensa comunitaria.
So what is Sala Comunitaria? That's community newsroom.
Es noticiero de comunidad.
Which really means that unlike CNN,
que quiere decir que no como CNN,
we're PNN.
Somos PNN.
We're the people-led news.
Nancy Kata with Radical Women and Sisters United Front for Survival, which is a campaign of Radical Women, which is focusing on trying to restore cow works. As we've seen, thank you all too for people, the work that you're doing and the education that you're doing. Also want to thank Tiny for inviting me here and also for coming to our forum a couple weekends ago. The thing is that there is violence that takes place in so many different ways, right? It's the direct, getting killed by a bullet, but then there's also the one of basically, the poverty violence against people where sometimes it's quicker, but generally it's slower. What we're trying to do with this Sisters United Front for Survival Coalition is to build and reach out to people who are most affected by the cuts, the budget cuts. We chose the CalWorks program. One is because we felt that that was actually a program that was doing some good work. I mean, not to say that the reforms don't do good work, but this one really had some really positive impacts in terms of helping women, to do job training, to have child care so they can go to school, they can get job training, that kind of stuff. We don't have any illusions that we're going to get all these great reforms and then suddenly everybody is going to be equal and we'll have love and peace everywhere, because it is a system that is screwing us over. One of the things we're trying to do is to build our coalition. So we're coming to we've gone door knocking in the Fillmore, in the Bayview. We've putting on education forums, we're putting the call out. We're also, not that we're against working with the nonprofits, it's more that we want to work with people who are not necessarily doing it for work and also have ties where it's a little harder for them to say certain things, so they think, because they're getting money from a variety of places that generally are oppressing us, right? The other thing is, one of the things that we're working on upcoming is to organize a contingent at an upcoming march to defend women's lives. That's happening. I'll pass these around. But we're also looking for people and inviting people to and wanting to work with Poor Magazine folks on the whole issue of reaching out and supporting and defending women's lives in all that means. Again, our orientation is not towards middle-class white women. It's really towards the poor, towards people of color, towards queers, towards immigrants, those people who have the most fighting spirit because of our everyday conditions, and also have the least amount of privilege, because those are the people who make the best fighters.
Hi, I'm Papa Bear, and alias, my real name is Abdullah Warith. What's coming to effect now on the streets, and I know you've seen it in the paper because I saw it Sunday about the sit-lie law, supposed to be starting to get promoted in the Haight area. Here in the Tenderloin, big time. I've been arrested 4 times now, and why I'm so late, I just got out of jail again for sleeping on the sidewalk. Shelter beds are full. Where else am I supposed to sleep? And in order for me to get out, not this time, but the last time, I had to accept the judge's ruling, which was to be put on a year probation and a stay-away order from the alley I slept in. And if I'm caught in that alley I slept in, I get a year county jail. What? For sleeping on the sidewalk. where there's no other place to sleep. So, Sit Lila, it's no joke now. They're promoted big time.
My name is Elizabeth Adams. I'm the executive producer of America Needs to Know TV. We broadcast in 20 cities, and we are a political activism program that brings forth stories that America needs to know. First thing at hand, the police are the biggest gang in America. That's number one. They are the biggest gang across the nation. Calling 911 is okay, but you have to think twice, because when you call the police, then you got another problem, because the police could be your second problem to the first problem. So calling 911 is really not too much of an option. The Police Bill of Rights really does need to be addressed, but finding organizations or people dedicated to the cause to rewrite the Bill of Rights is a total different story. I've been available, like I said, for 3 years, but it's not something that I can do by myself, which is why I'm here at People's Magazine. I wanted to share with you all regarding the CIA MK Ultra program. And I know you guys are not familiar with it, most of you may not be, but it is the reason why all of these youngsters have all of these problems with the drive-by shootings. They've been programmed to kill one another, literally. But now you're probably saying, why? How can I believe that? Well, the concept had to come from somewhere. Back in 1962, the Manchurian Candidate movie with Frank Sinatra was the first movie made regarding mind control programming being sponsored by the government. Now, in 2004, they made the Manchurian Candidate #2 with Denzel Washington. Gee, now, just common sense, oh, but shucks, common sense is no longer common, okay? Why would someone keep making movies about the CIA and mind control programming U.S. citizens? The concept came from somewhere. Only in the black communities and the poor communities, Latino communities, are the drive-by shootings. You don't see it in white neighborhoods, and I'm not prejudiced, you don't see it anywhere. It is a form of CIA MK Ultra programming. Now, I'm saying all this to share with you all. This is why we need to address these problems to our senators and congressional members. This is why the Police Bill of Rights needs to be rewritten.
My name is Amy Lee Anderson, and I live in Richmond, California, and I am what you called a targeted individual. And a targeted individual is one who is experimented on with remote neural monitoring technology. The government is putting chip implants in people covertly without their consent and knowledge. And what these implants can do to these victims is cause psychological disorder, mimic behavior, alter the people's behavior, where these people can be easily depicted as having some type of psychological illness. And I want to share with you some of the things that I saw.